Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Focus TV. So much has gone on. I don't even know where to start. NBA free agency, quite a few Woj bombs. And shout out to Chris Haynes, who initially had the news on Kawhi, but we're going to get into that just a little bit because that kind of affects free agency and summer league and this upcoming year. Washington Mystics, going to be talking about them a little bit. Little D.C. United. Cardell has some updates from the Kenner League. Looking forward to that. And, no show's complete without, Jamal Hayward and the job he does from 9-4-50. We're going to see what he has for you guys to work on this week. But, again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We truly appreciate it. We're going to start with this WNBA. The Mystics were recently just on a road trip. They had just won 5 consecutive games, found their way to the top of the league, sitting in first. They were literally on a roll. They were looking for their 6th straight win, but the game was postponed at halftime due to an earthquake in Southern California. Washington was leading the Las Vegas Aces 51-36 at the time. Victoria Sanders led the Mystics for 14 points. Again, they were on a roll for a team that was kind of on fire. It's not exactly what you wish to happen, but they were able to get the games for the night, both WNBA game and the remaining summer league games, were canceled, I think, except for one summer league game. But they were able to get everybody out. And the Mystics, after that, they went on to take on the Sparks. Things did not go well in that one, literally a minute into it. Elena Deladon goes down with a facial injury. But credit to the Sparks. They were looking to get a lick back on the Mystics after what the Mystics did to them last time they were in Los Angeles. Wasn't very pretty. Put the pause on them. So the Sparks returned the favor. Nneka Ogwumike, 31 points, 10 rebounds in the win. Shout out to Chelsea Gray. Triple-double. Doesn't happen that often in the WNBA. So shout out to her for getting it done. But despite that, despite the 5-game win streak coming to an end, the Mystics still remain first in the league with a 9-4 record. They still hold a half-game edge over the Connecticut Sun. So before we talk into Deladon's injury, what that means for the games coming up this week, just what did you guys think about the road trip and, essentially just how they performed, not in Vegas necessarily because they got off to a good start, but, what happened in L.A.?
Talking about the road trip, it's like the best results you could really ask for. Of course, they would want to have taken the last game as well, but as you guys have talked about so eloquently on the show, usually the biggest concern for the Mystics is on the road. So to see them actually get out on the road on a long road trip and come out with a positive from it, although Deladon got injured, but for them to come out, win as many games as they did, going through that long road trip and still being on top of the WNBA, I think it's a good thing for them, and hopefully they're able to ride the momentum. Hopefully the injury to Deladon is not too serious from what I've read, but things change all the time in the league. So hopefully they're able to continue going because, like we've talked about as well, they're ready to run it back, and as long as they keep playing well, like they have been playing, minus this last LA game, but they're well on their way to going back to the championship and hopefully getting different results this time.
Cardell?
The Mystics got to find a way to win games when their 2 leaders, Tolliver and Deladon, either out, lead the game, or not playing well. It's starting to become a theme. And I know teams going to kind of focus on that, take away those 2, who's going to beat us? And because, it's been, the season opener, Deladon was there. They lost to the Sun. You get at a pass. It's the first game, no big deal. But then when Chrissy was ejected against Seattle, the Mystics were cold in the 4th, lost by 3, they were up. And then obviously Deladon only playing a minute, suffering a nasal fracture in LA. It was a blowout. And they were already on get back because of what Washington did to them. And Washington's 3 losses when either Tolliver or Deladon are out or leave the game early. The Mystics are shooting 38% from the field, 24% from deep, but allowing 46% shooting from the field, 39% from 3. They're going to have to find a way to win these type of games. I see, Tolliver, she did her thing. Ariel Powers came off the bench, she did and played well, but everybody else shot well. The Sparks brought it to them. They brought the physicality to them, and they didn't respond well. It's like when Deladon, leaves or Tolliver got just well, I'm not gonna say they get complacent. They don't have the same type of the dog of confidence that they need. It just, it should be like, all right, we all got to step up. It's kind of like, oh man, you see what I'm saying? So that's just the big thing. Because even when Oliver went down against Seattle, they just suffocated Deladon, said somebody else beat us, and they weren't able to. If that becomes a trend, if that's something consistent, it's going to be hard for Washington to make a championship run, because that's what teams going to start to do, especially during that playoff push after All-Star break.
And I mean, you guys hit the nail on the head for that. That's also why, regardless of Deladon's status for this week, the 2 games this week, the return of Emma Mieseman is kind of, it's really, it's literally right on time for them. Because as you said, when those 2 aren't available, I believe it's also, Emma hasn't been here for any of those games either. Not to say that Emma's literally the end-all be-all problem for this, but again, you need like you said, you need everybody to step up. But obviously, if a team where you got a pecking order where it's 1, 2, 3, that third person, when they're not there, again, that falls on everybody else. To have someone else that you can sometimes run an offense.
She played in the second game, the first game of the season. Emma, she ain't playing that. But she did hard.
No, actually, I think you might be right. She played in the first one.
Yeah, the Sun, the first.
In the Sun, not the Seattle.
Yeah.
Not Seattle.
The Sun,
yeah. The Sun. So again, even still, like you said, everyone does need to step up. And the good thing is the schedule's not going to permit them to rest. You're going to have to come ready for war come tomorrow morning. You take on the Mercury. Again, you're at the top of the league. You are the targeted. You are the hunted at the moment. Don't know if Taurasi's going to play, but if she does play, that's a whole other set of problems you have to worry about. But already you have Brittany Griner and DeWanna Bonner coming in here. They will be ready to go to work. DeWanna Bonner doesn't get nearly enough credit for the problem that she is on both ends of the floor of the WNBA. And then I believe you have Las Vegas coming back looking for revenge, because had that game finished, they were literally on pace for you to blow them out for the second time. They get a chance while that game's kind of limbo. You got to make up that half later. I don't believe the date has been shared yet or decided upon. I think it's somewhere in August, supposedly. But again, those are 2 big games you have against Western Conference teams this week. But go ahead.
And another thing about that Sparks loss, Candace Parker, she hasn't got a rhythm yet, and you got to punish. Really dominated inside by Gwumke, and we know what Chelsea Gray did. Even though Rakuna Williams or whatever,
Yeah.
she did her thing, but she could do that off and on. She can explode for those type of points. That's her game, but you shouldn't be getting smacked like that when your top 2 player on the team not playing well. But they got a rebound. It's just like I said, just pay attention to that trend moving forward, because that's starting to become something they need to pay attention to and correct.
Another thing is to see if they can get to that point to make up for it, to deal with it, and that, because like you said, if that becomes something from a scouting standpoint, you're gonna see it a lot. You're gonna have to figure this out, and it's better, obviously, if you're Washington, to figure out a resolution for this sooner than later. So we will see. There will be tested, especially if Leonard doesn't play tomorrow against a very, Phoenix is still Phoenix. You got Las Vegas. We already know about the size that they have there. There's more than just Twin Towers on that team as well. They're going to be tested, and we're going to see what ends up happening. But as for Elena Deladon, the last thing we saw from Mystics VR was that she suffered a nasal fracture during the first quarter of the game we talked about. But she's listed as day-to-day. Her condition will be updated as necessary. Cardell is really good about sharing those PR releases on the Focus accounts, which is why you should follow Focus TV. Social media also get it after Finds Mag and My Mama Sports. But with the WNBA segment, if nobody else had anything else, we're going to slide to the NBA. Free agency updates. Just want to give you guys room to talk about. We already know what happened, and Cardell, he said it many times, when some people move, the league feels it. We felt a seismic shift in the league.
That's why it was an earthquake.
Kawhi's not on the way. He ain't on the way, baby.
He did go to LA.
Just not that one.
But yeah, you guys just talk obviously about that and some of the other moves that happened before we talk about Summer League in particular the Wizards?
I mean, to just talk about Kawhi, of course, just quickly. I'm interested to see it all together with all the pieces. I love Doc as a coach, so I really want to see how that dynamic progresses or, turns out to be. Because in theory, in my head, I think it's going to work really well. I think that Kawhi is the type of player that takes all that information in. And I feel like Doc has a lot of stuff that he could, teach him. Not saying that he has to teach him, but I'm really interested to see how that all plays together. Your man Quinn went to the Lakers. Just to throw a couple names out. But ever since Kawhi made the decision, now you see the Lakers aren't like frozen anymore. They are realizing they have to pick up other people. They got Quinn. DeMarcus Cousins landed out in LA on a $3.5 million one-year contract. So with them, I'm interested to see how all of these individual pieces fit together, because I feel like we said last time, that we were waiting on Kawhi's decision, and that caused them to wait as well. So they missed the other pieces that they probably would have wanted. But it's the name of the game, it's the nature of the beast, so it happens. But I'm just interested to see how that works out with them. I don't know what else. Go ahead. It's a lot to happen.
Cardell, your thoughts on, I guess, first the Kawhi moving in, some of the other things?
It was big. Like I said, it literally just shook the whole league. You can see it on Twitter. I mean, it woke me up. I'm getting all these buzzes on my phone the first thing in the morning. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, because it happened like 2 in the morning or something.
I hit you in our chat, like literally when it happened, and I felt bad after I did it. I was like, it's like 2 a.m.
I woke up like 4, like, what is this buzzing? And I was just thinking, well, like, what? And everybody tweeting about it. It was just NBA players like, what the hell just happened? Then the shocker was Paul George just boom.
Yeah,
that's what really shocked it. Yeah. It's not shock he left. It's just the shock that Paul George came. And I mean, just looking at that team right now on paper, it's not even the offense. The defense gonna be ignorant. Pat, Paul, Kawhi is like, they could literally switch all day, pick your poison. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Harkless came from Portland, Zubac down there, but then they're bringing in Lou Williams, they bringing in Harrell. I mean, Montreal, it's bad, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of firepower. Oh, they literally can go 10 deep. They brought in other guys as well. But I like their potential on both ends. That's what I feel like separates them from all the other contenders, that they're going to score. It is what it is. They're going to score in a lot of ways. People don't give Patrick Beverly the credit he deserves for being one of the top 3-point shooters, not just last season, but the past few seasons. You can't leave him, even though that's not his reputation. I mean, he shoots around 40%, dang near for his career. So you have to acknowledge that. And then we know we're going to bring defensively. And he's a solid dude as far as getting the team in the offense and stuff like that, man. He's not the best playmaker, but he can bring the ball up and get the offense initiated. But defensively, they literally, Pat, just 94 feet all day.
I got a question. If it's you, do you want to call for a screen? Knowing, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally what's on the other side of it?
Nah, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't even want one of those dudes coming to bother me to, like, swing at the ball. Like, let me deal with this pass.
Yeah. Is one of the 2 best defending wings in the league.
Yeah. And the thing, and the intangible thing that comes with this roster, damn near everybody dogs.
Yeah.
Everybody, even from the front office, they're dogs. It's like, they're competitive, they're vicious, they're not coming in there. They're not scared of anybody. I love it, man. You know what I'm saying? They already talking this, Pat. Like, oh yeah, we come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I seen the tweet, Pat.
So I love it, man. But it's gonna be fun. The thing that's disheartening is obviously the Russell Westbrook situation. He left alone. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's best for him for them to move him, because they're not gonna win anytime soon. He's up there in age. He's in his early 30s, and it's just get him to a place where he can at least compete and try to win something. You know what I'm saying? He displayed his loyalty, and I think once he found out that he was actually in the trade originally to go to Toronto, but it fell through with the Kawhi situation, man, but it fell through. Some Raptors said no. That's when it was just like, it's not personal, it's just business, so let me up out of here. And, just got to move on.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. We were talking before the show started. it feels like the extra attacks on Russ
Always.
are kind of ridiculous.
It always happens.
Secondly, Russ wasn't the guy calling the shots in OKC during this whole time. A lot of stuff happened on somebody's watch. His name wasn't Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook did not draft Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Jeff Green, Serge Ibaka. Didn't make these trades or whatever. The other thing, like with Russ, to piggyback with you, I just hope I know the rumor was heavy, obviously, with Miami. But no matter where it goes, like you, hope it's somewhere competitive and somewhere we can really cultivate this. The thing that makes him so special is the fact that that motor runs hot no matter what's going on, which is something everybody in the league does not have. But yeah, it's crazy with the slander right now. It's just wild. But
Clippers re-signed JaMychal Green, another 6'10", 6'11" dude. You know, they brought in Rodney McGruder. And
Miami, which is a low-key nice pickup too.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they added some dog, like I said, dogs all down the roster, ultra competitive. So you know, the Lakers, you know, they added Avery Bradley, Cousins, Troy Daniels, Jared Dudley, who's underrated, on a pickup for them.
Danny Green.
Rondo, Danny, you know, yeah, that's Danny Green. So I mean, you know, hey man, it's real out there. You can't ignore kind of what Utah did as well. They sleeping on that. I'm gonna get to Utah. The Blazers added Kent Bazemore, Tolliver, Hassan Whiteside. That's the biggest thing I'm looking at. You know, Hassan Whiteside. You know, it's real out west, man. It's no like Jazz added Bo Buckets, Mike Conley. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be hell out there.
Got jumping out west too because everyone was so quick to hop on the demise of the Golden State Warriors. While no one's paying attention cleverly, they're still going to be around, still going to be in the picture, still going to be annoying. So this is what the Warriors did while everyone's decided not to care. With whatever happened with the Thunder, shout out to them as an organization for giving, who's the other person, Mike Muscala and Alec Burks the opportunity to get out of their deals that they signed with the Thunder. Because obviously after everything happened, they're no longer...
It's not the same
you
team.
know, the trajectory of the team has changed quite a bit. So Alec Burks got out of that situation, signed the vet minimum. He's now in Golden State, so they're adding more wings. We know D'Angelo Russell is there. One of the things I think probably won't get talked about enough is picking up Willie Cauley-Stein for essentially nothing for this year. 25 years old. We saw the effect that JaVale had in Golden State, even though people didn't care too much, for what he was able to do for them. And Willie Cauley-Stein, again, 25 years old. The trade for Amari Spellman, like that as well. Damon Jones, second round picks. They're getting versatile bigs. While everybody's loading up with all these different things, a lot of teams are kind of, well, not a lot of teams, but some of the smarter teams are sitting here making sure that they have enough for whatever's thrown their way.
Jeremy Grant to the Nuggets.
That was huge too. The Nuggets keep stocking up, which is going to be fun for them. That's such a
So that says they're getting a lot of athletic forwards. So that clearly means that we going for you Clippers and Lakers. Like we ain't just sitting back. So
nah, and no one's just gonna sit here and watch this happen. Heading to Summer League real quick. Obviously last night, one of the players, Cardell, highlighted on the probe, Jackson Hayes, with a crazy dunk last night. Him and Akil Alexander Walker definitely showed out for the Pelicans. Obviously, we know that's where Zion went, but it's their off season just A++++. Hayes with that big dunk had 28 points, 4 rebounds, 3 big blocks. Alexander Walker, for a debut, not exactly bad for a guard, 23 points, 8 assists, and 3 steals. Those performances really jumped out to me last night. And we're watching those teams, the teams that we've seen attract these big-time players because of their culture, because of developing players. Those teams in Summer League, watch those guys, with how they're developing, how they're getting better, because those are going to be the guys as the season goes on that play, I don't want to say pivotal minutes, but it's an 82-game season. Your big guns are not playing all 82 games. Those guys are going to play a role. But anything else or something before we get to the Wizards?
yeah, I gotta throw out some names that shine. Ignas Brazdeikis from the Knicks, 30 points, 8 rebounds, hit a clutch triple to send the game in overtime. Terrence Davis shined from the Nuggets, 22 points, 8 of 13 shooting, 5 of 7 from 3, 5 boards, 3 assists, which earned him a 2-year deal with the Raptors right after the game. You just talked about Jackson Hayes. Local kid, James Palmer Jr., went to St. John's, finished, started at Miami, finished up at Nebraska. He posted 23 points, 4 rebounds, a 4-7 shooting from deep, and a win over the Knicks.
Pro guy as
He's
well.
with the Sun, pro guy as well. Portsmouth, all Portsmouth team. Gary Trent Jr., for the Blazers, posted 31 points in 25 minutes, 10-12 shooting from the field, 7-8 from 3, 6-6 from the line, 6 rebounds, and a win over Houston. And Lonnie Walker Jr. went off for the Spurs. I think he's going to have a big year with the Spurs. He's going to take that leap. Had 32 points on 12 of 23 shooting, 3-6 from 3, 5-6 from the line, 6 rebounds, and a win over Toronto.
All right, on to the Wizards. Simply put, the culture shift is apparent.
Yeah.
To anybody who doesn't realize that, I don't know if it's by choice or you just don't know what to look for in that regard. But literally all the things people have been complaining about for quite a while here are literally starting to manifest as the early stages of it. You were just talking about the Clippers going out their way to get nothing but dogs on their roster. Right now, I know the Wizards roster isn't filled with the biggest of names, which you can see even from looking at the Summer League team. Motors run hot. They're playing hard. These are guys where you don't have to worry about them showing up or them putting the work in. And obviously, to establish a great culture, you have to start somewhere. And it's in the baby stages of it being fostered here. So that's what I've been taking away. That's what I've been enjoying. I know, Cardell, I've been talking about this as well. Some quick things that come to mind for me. Troy Brown definitely taking a step forward in his development. I like the assertiveness with his game. That's huge, and we've been seeing that with some other guys in their second year on other teams in Summer League thus far. Very assertive, very confident. I like the ownership he's taking over this group. Rui, just showing that there's so much more to basketball than putting the ball in the basket. Schofield, the effort. Justin Robinson, can't leave him off the list either. But Cardell, just your thoughts on the Wizards?
It's just Summer League. For me, I'm just trying to. For me, with Summer League, you just want to see if the players have it in them.
Right.
If you have it in them, then it becomes a thing for the staff to be like, can we bring it out of you consistently when the time comes? Because a lot of guys that's playing Summer League, they won't even get a chance. They don't have it in them. That's what they're going to show. So that's why they're not going to be in the league. And what you're seeing, like with Rui, you see he definitely has it in him, the versatility. Because against the Nets, they came out ice cold. They couldn't make a shot. But their defense kept them in the game. And then slowly but surely, they started picking away, and then it became a game all the way through till they just came up short. I like Rui. I like his poise, man. Scott Brooks keeps touching on it, how poised he is. You never know if he's having a good game or a bad game. He's just even keel, and we just seen a monster come through the league and win a championship being that way. And that's just a great demeanor to have, man, because he started off, he was missing early. And then he slowly got it going, finished with 19 points and 7 rebounds. But, I think I like him because he knows what he is. He's not trying to, prove something, being something that he's not. I know a lot of people harping on the three-point shooting because they just so stuck on the three-heavy lead, but that's not him right now. His game is mid-range in. And, scoring, making plays off intangible, 50-50 balls, and backdoor cuts, stuff like that, knowing how to play. Being a star in those areas and in your role can help you be a star. That's what people don't understand. And that's what the Wizards need. Everybody's not going to be a superstar of the league. It's just not realistic. So I like what he brings, especially defensively. Both games, he's had some good blocks, rotation, helps out defense. He's rebounding well. He's you touched on Troy Brown. I like what I'm seeing out of Justin Robinson. He obviously ain't shoot the ball well last game, but he can. But I like how he's just running the team, making sure it flows, controlling the pace, getting guys involved. It's assist to turnover ratio. He had 4 assists, but he had no turnovers. You see what I'm saying? Like, fine, you ain't shooting the ball well, then don't help us lose either. You know what I'm saying? So it was a plus for him. Troy Capane from Cincinnati, always liked his game when he was back in college, tough-nosed guy. I think they gonna find him a little spot on the go. Probably have to come up a couple times as Wall recovers and stuff. I think he's just ready to go. 70-11 last night, 15 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. He's by far the best player. And even Mo Wagner, he was rusty. He literally got off the plane on Sunday, and then they just threw him to the fire. He don't know the players. He ain't know the plays. He don't know their tendencies. Yet he still show signs of what he can be. I mean, I think he had 8 points in 16 minutes of a block shot. But we know, rightfully so. He say he's not up to speed, but he will. And when he is, he's a 3-level scorer, 7-footer, legit can rebound. And I just think he would make a big impact because that's something that the Wizards have, a big that can stretch the floor, be able to score on the block, and he comes with a certain type of toughness that I think the Wizards need inside. So that's all I'm looking for. I mean, like you said, you can't put too much stock in some of the. Remember, Trae Young looked horrible last year, and he was in running for Rookie of the Year. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you can't put too much stock in it, man. It's just about getting your feet wet, getting used to the system, and then when the time comes, ball out when that comes.
Said it better. All right, that completes the first portion of our show. We're going to take a quick break when we get back. Little D.C. United, some 9-4-50. Still got this Summer League segment coming up. Can't wait to hear what Cardell has to share with us from the Kenner League, our Pitts League rankings. And then, I'd say, the whole rapid fire.
Oh, yeah, that thing
happens here. But you're watching the Focus TV, and we'll be right back.
Got some Eagles.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, DC United segment starts right now. The Black and Red, they faltered a little bit on the road, falling to FC Dallas 2-0. Wayne Rooney appeared to get ejected after being issued a red card, but thanks to video review, it was brought down to a yellow. Still, the home team, that's being FC Dallas, took a 1-0 lead into the half after scoring just 6 minutes into the match. Dominique Badji scored in the 65th minute to kind of seal the deal for FC Dallas. Luciano Acosta was issued a red card in the 73rd minute. That obviously doesn't help matters as DC United played the remaining some 20 minutes with 10 men. One of the positives in this, 16-year-old Griffin Yao did get his first career start, so shout out to him. Black and Red, they come home this week, this Friday specifically. They will host New England. And again, despite the loss, DC United is currently in second place in the Eastern Conference. Life could be so much worse. They're still in second place. As for the 9-4-50 breakdown, this week, Jamal demos a pinch post option for wings and bigs. Again, a pinch post option for wings and bigs, followed by our second break. And when we get back, Cardell's going to let us know about the Kenner League.
We're going to work on a mid-post option from the elbow area. It's called a pitch post. So you're just backing the defender around and you get some space for a fadeaway. So you can do it on either side. So here, I sign my defender up. I have the ball on my left hand. Defender's here, keep him on my hip. So I want one hard dribble. Okay, so I go into the defender. Back hand, last speed. So here it is, last speed. On the ball. We're going to work on a mid-post option from the elbow area. It's called a pitch post. So you're just backing the defender around and you get some space for a fadeaway. So you can do it on either side. So here, I sign my defender up. I have the ball on my left hand. Defender's here, keep him on my hip. So I want one hard dribble. Okay, so I go into the defender. Back hand, last speed. So here it is, last speed. On the ball.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. As always, thank you to Jamal Hayward over at 9-4-50. Cardell, Summer League segment. We got that much going on this summer.
Yeah, a lot of leagues going on, man.
Well, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
It's the opening weekend for the Kenner League, DC Nike Pro City. Probably the most storied. It is the most storied historical summer league we have. Takes place at Georgetown. For those that don't know that out the area, Washington takes place on the campus of Georgetown University. You know, it's just a cool place where all the top college guys, not even top, just area college guys, local kids who came up, maybe went away to school, they come back home for the summer where they can come play. Don't have to worry about being ineligible for the season and play against good quality competition. A lot of pros always come back, especially Hoya, former Hoyas, they come back, get some games in. It's just a good way to stay sharp and also test yourself, you know, to get ready for the upcoming season. As usual, was there standouts. I came Saturday, pretty much checked out the action, and here they are. Isaiah Burke from Bowie High School, by the fact he's at Morgan State. He's a sophomore this upcoming season, 6'1" point guard. Shifty, very quick point guard who can knock down shots from the outside, and is a solid playmaker. He's also a smart defender. He always, kind of created traps when you didn't think it would become that. Guys turning their back, dribbling up court. Back a days ago, and then next thing you know, he right behind them on them, and they got to pick the ball up. And he just helped create a lot of, stops and turnovers that way, which I love. So I think he took pride in his defense. Becoming a more efficient finisher at the basket will take his game to another level. Who knows? Maybe he is. It's just that game. It is what it is. He just didn't convert. Jay Huff, keep an eye on this guy. 7'1" center out of Virginia. He's a junior. He's a stretch center. Can shoot it with range. Solid post scorer, rim protector, and rebounder. At one point, Huff hit 3 straight triples from NBA range. He's fairly athletic. In warm-ups, he was doing 360s. I know people saying 7'1" guys, that's easy. No, it's not, because there's a lot of 7'1" guys that can't jump at all. But he needs to get stronger. In the matchup against a Georgetown center, Omer Yurtseven, he got back down a little bit trying to defend Yurtseven on the block, and he went to work on him. So that's the next phase. He got to be able to hold his own in the post defensively. Love his skill set, and can easily see how he would be an issue for opponents this upcoming season in the ACC. Matt Lewis, another local kid out of O'Connell. He's at James Madison. He's a 6'5" junior, all CAA guard. Was impressive in every aspect. He scored from all 3 levels, made plays, had a strong defensive presence. He can get it done, scoring off the move, off the bounce, and off hustle plays. His offensive rebounds, 50-50 ball situations, he scored off that. He's a guy that know how to play, and he's a very explosive guard. You probably, you don't see these type of explosive guards in the CAA. They're normally in, the power conferences or whatever you want to say, Power 5, that's what they call it nowadays. But, he's definitely one of them. And just to see where he came from high school to now, where his game is just so well-rounded, it's a testament to the work he's put in. So I think he's going to be in the running for CAA Player of the Year next year. He's that lethal. Another kid, who I saw as a freshman, had an up-and-down freshman season at GW, Mezial he played at Georgetown Prep, 6'6" sophomore. He surprised everybody. He came in the game looking like Lamar Odom with the point forward skill set. One play, he got the rebound, took like 2 dribbles and threw a bounce pass through traffic to his teammate who scored the layup, and everybody just looked at each other like, yo, I didn't know he had that. So he consistently brought the ball up against pressure and, made pinpoint passes. He was surgical with it. Meanwhile, he was able to score inside and out, and is a capable defender on the perimeter and on block. His versatility will be huge for GW this upcoming season. He had 21 points for high level in a win over the Toon. So just keep an eye on him, 6'6" forward. Then Mark Slay, another local guy, played at St. Stephen's, St. Agnes in high school. He's at High Point now with Tubby Smith. 5'11" point guard. He didn't have a great season last year under Tubby Smith. I think, Tubby Smith is the man, the coach, and all that kind of maybe, not had him scared, it shook him up, but it was just like a wake-up call. But you couldn't tell in that summer league game, he came out, he's always been tough, but a tough miniature point guard, but he was lighting dudes up from everywhere. And what he lacks in size and, just all-world athleticism, like say you see with a Nate Robinson from a smaller guard, he makes up for it with high skill level and will. He kind of reminds me a lot of Kyle Lowry with how he approaches the game. He controlled the game on both ends, leading vocally, telling guys where to be, how to make plays on offense and defense. You rarely see that during summer league. Your guards usually just trying to dance, do their thing. You can tell Slade is looking to make more of an impact at High Point next season, so he's working on every aspect, leadership, obviously, scoring while skill set, getting it done defensively. So what I saw in this game, if he can bring that next season, he's going to wake a lot of people up. Freshman, spoke on him plenty of times. Cute as Wahab, played at Flint Hill, Georgetown, freshman, 6'11" center. He had a solid game, scoring in the post, stepping out, hitting mid-range jumpers, and rebounding. His promise is clear. Everybody know that's why everybody's excited that he went to Georgetown, get to play under Ewing, one of the greatest centers ever. I mean, it's just no-brainer, stay close home, but he needs to improve on scoring out of the post with his left hand. There was plenty of times he would get the offensive board, and he would be right there. He could just go with his left hand, and he would turn back into the defense and shoot a more difficult shot. Now, he made it, but that's not going to work when the real season comes. Guards will be digging down, grabbing at the ball. He's going to get blocked and stuff, stuff like that. So he got to work on his left hand. So that way, when he gets on that side, he's just going right up and preferably finishing strong, just dunking on dudes. And he also has to get better at defending on the perimeter. He had to guard Mezzi from GW, and he just blew past him every time. And, it was bad. So if he don't, somehow figure out angles or get quicker laterally, he's gonna be a liability in pick and roll, especially in the Big East. With Villanova and all those guard teams like that. That's not what it is. It's gonna be hard to keep him on the floor. So it's early, of course, and I'm sure the staff will work to correct those things. How Why will get his fair share of minutes and be impactful. He's just too talented not to. Another local kid, AJ Wilson, out of Duval High School, he's at George Mason, 6'7" junior, high motor, athletic wing. Put down a couple of crowd-pleasing dunks. His improvement shooting the ball caught my eye. Last season at George Mason, he only attempted three three-pointers and made none. So in the Kennedy League game, he knocked down 2 of his first 3. He has a nice fluid motion, and he shot it with confidence. It wasn't like he was hesitant. As soon as he caught the ball, he was letting it fly because he was open, which means he's working on his game. So if he can add that to his game, shoot it with confidence and hit it consistently, he could be a surprise player in the A-10 next season. And one, capable of disrupting the game in many ways because even though he's a smaller forward, he's so, athletic and high motor and length and stuff like that. He can guard all types of players, so he can disrupt things defensively, scoring the transition, hitting the 3. So that's what makes him such a threat. And of course, Omer Yurtseven, transferred from NC State, sat out last year, Georgetown center junior. He definitely will be starting at center for Georgetown. He was dominant all weekend, straight up. He's 7 foot, but he's 275. And it's not, and he can move, what I'm saying? So he posted 24 points and 7 rebounds in the win over McClinton All-Stars on Saturday, and then posted 34 points in the win over AWash on Sunday. He's a load. Like I said, he's 7 feet, 275. He can run the floor well. He's sneaky quick off his feet when he dunks the ball, skilled in the post, and an adequate passer once doubled. And a solid rebounder. I expect a strong season. I expect him to kind of be first team All Big East and stay healthy. I think you can pencil him in for that. So keep you posted on how things go moving forward in the summer.
All right, and as for the Pitts League, we got your updated Pitts Power Rankings. I want to go ahead and let you guys check that out when we get back. Cardell is going to go ahead and torture us with some rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
right, those were the updated Pitts League rankings.
Rub Sam's
Cardell,
like
there's
bird
really no need for that. Well, go ahead, man. What you got for us this week in rapid fire? Go ahead.
Oh man,
Get through
where
this.
am I gonna start? We'll start in the NFL. Bengals defensive end Carl Lewis, who has 9.5 sacks in 2 years. 2.5 came in the third game of his career against this very team. Said he wishes every quarterback would be as easy to get to as Aaron Rodgers. That day when he had 2.5 sacks, he said, honestly, I think it's easier to sack Aaron than most quarterbacks. He sits there and he passed the ball. At the same time, sacking him don't mean anything if you don't do it for 4 quarters. Thoughts on it?
I think it's kind of disrespectful to my man Aaron. Aaron should take that personally. I mean, it is, to me, it's kind of disrespectful, but I don't think all of it is Aaron's fault. You know, I'm sure there's other reasons why he gets sacked, and I'm sure what he's been doing has had him as one of the, if not best, you know, arguably best quarterback in the league, though arguably in front of that. So it's just talk again. You know, and then next year when they play again, he's not gonna be able to get to him, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, what's all the trash you were talking then?" So it's stupid. But I mean, if that's how he feels, he gotta put up or shut up when it comes down to it. Again, now that you done put it out there for everybody to know, which is why sometimes I be feeling like professional athletes talk too much. You know, certain stuff, like if that's how you feel, cool. Keep it to yourself, because now you're gonna mess yourself up in the future, and if you don't do that, everybody be looking at you like, so what you say? But it is what it is, I guess.
I feel like the person who's speaking, you haven't done enough to share your opinion. To this point in your career, for me to honor your thoughts or to care for your opinion, Mr. Lawson, I would urge you to ensure that the Bengals do better overall before I entertain your
You
thoughts.
said my name Lewis, don't disrespect me.
I must say, who
Louis
is this person?
Lawson, whoever it may be.
Who are you?
Sir, who said this
It
statement?
doesn't even go here. It's like,
I don't care, man. Just be quiet. Like, they're not even in your division. Worry about that. Like,
Especially in the NFL, that's like the ultimate team sport. Like, see, you're not the DB. You don't have to deal with. I mean, I understand you got to get to him, but once he throws the ball, you pretty much cool until the next play. The DB's got to work, and he might have that virus, whoever he guard, and go off, and he the one on film getting torched because you talking.
but like you said, those 2 sacks might have been because of the DBs. They could have been covered sacks.
Yeah,
Why are you talking out of your? Why are you talking? Period.
you have 9.5 in like 2 years, bro. Like,
you're gonna need more than that to
what's
talk.
my man from the Rams? Always Aaron Donald. He get that like half a season. No, seriously, that's a half a season of work. Like he could talk. If he
Like,
said it, I'm
you
like,
said,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, if he said it, that's gospel to me.
Yeah,
and I'm
I was
gonna
like,
keep
ooh.
I would probably like, all right, we need to analyze this for real now, because if he gets to you
Look,
easily,
I'm not even fact checking it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you, I'm saying
I'm not
if you Green Bay, you need to analyze it like he can't get to you easily.
Guess
We
what?
cannot do that.
Aaron said it's easy. It's easy. I mess with Aaron Donald.
Hold
But
on.
you,
Do they
sir,
play this year? Is what I want to know. Do the Packers and Bengals play this year?
Let's
I'll tell
see.
you.
I will check that out.
'Cause
That's crazy,
that's
right?
must see
You
TV.
got 9.5 career sacks.
9.5 career sacks. Don't try to disrespect this half. I saw what you tried to do.
I mean, a half means he shared it with somebody else. So.
but he was there. He was there though.
But
No
also
disrespect.
somebody else
He was there. He failed and got the sack.
It also could have meant he finished off the sack. Which meant, again,
Hey.
someone
He
else.
could have just touched him
The
at the
dude
end.
should have got him down. Like, man, give my man this credit. He was working out there.
I'm sorry.
Thank
It's
you, man.
9.5 sacks.
There you go.
You said the Bengals? I don't think they played them this year.
Oh, he see. Okay.
So that's
So
why he
like,
said
you talk from a safe distance.
That's why he said it. He was like, well, we ain't got to play them this year.
Oh,
Y'all not going to
very
remember it if we
From
play them the
safest
year
distance in the
after.
world.
Yep.
Nah, yeah, they don't play them this
Your
year.
statement's null and void.
All
sir.
right.
We don't care. It's like,
Timberwolves rookie Jared Culver, as many incoming rookies are doing this summer, is sitting out summer league. Culver is sitting out summer league as he fully integrates himself into the Timberwolves system. The team said, "What are your thoughts on that?"
how are you fully integrating yourself into a system and you not in the system? I don't understand. I don't get it. How are you fully integrating yourself into a system that you're not playing in? You cannot get game time, NBA speed game reps in practice. You can't. This is like the best preseason that you can hope for, to learn. Like, this is the time that you're supposed to. This is the time you're supposed to be out there, make mistakes, figure out the play, figure out, your potential teammates, have the, veterans, give you advice, like real game time advice as the game is going on, see if you can adapt to the speed of everything. Just sitting there and watching it, that's not going to do nothing. Like, in my opinion, it's not. So I don't understand how he's fully integrating into any system sitting on the bench and watching TV.
Look, I'm with that tell you wholeheartedly. Again, I said earlier, this show.
It's this generation, though.
Some of these organizations are going to be able to hit the ground running with their kids because their kids played in summer league. They will be able to contribute quicker. That means it's going to fast track them to training camp. There's a reason these things happen in steps and why they should not be skipped. Outside of an injury, I don't see what a rookie has in waiting for anything.
Nope.
Even if it's playing every other game, right? You need to get your feet wet, man. Just
that atmosphere in that arena.
And it's like you said, it's the perfect place to get all the mistakes out.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not at training camp looking crazy.
And then they really looking at you like integrated into the, because now it's like you set out to integrate into the system, and now training camp's here, and they're like, well, you need to know everything. If that's what you set out for, I need to see that on the court immediately.
And if you play basketball, you understand. It's hard to just jump in when everybody's in rhythm and just jump in and be at that speed. It takes a minute. It takes a little bit. It's just, when we did a round table, when, Bird was here, Lewis Henry was here, and, we both talked about our first college experience. Like, you get your butt whooped the first two. People don't want to keep it real, but that first few days, week or so, you getting punished because you are literally trying to figure things out that the upper classmen already, or the returning players know. They're at the game speed. They know exactly what the coaches want. You're trying to figure it out on top of trying to incorporate your game so you can earn the trust and get minutes and stuff like that. And you just getting destroyed off simple stuff because you're thinking. He's going to be thinking. Now you add in what's going on with how the league is structured now. You don't really even have a training camp. You got like a week.
I was about to say, their training camps are so short.
Yeah. So you don't, and you might practice, and they really don't practice hard like they used to back in the day. So you're not really getting that full until the season starts. By then it's too late. Now you're going against the dogs.
And that's deep water.
And they're going to get you up out of there quick, go sit down. You see what I'm saying? It's a hard adjustment. I think, man, every rep counts. So the more reps, the better for you to be ready and then just ignore it, man. But, hey, that's what their franchise shows to do.
Would you say bad teams do bad things? I'm sorry. That's just what you said.
What's question? But essentially, yes. Essentially, yes.
Okay.
I can confirm the statement.
I don't even want to get in the old school thing. They say I'm always hating on this era, so I'm going to be quiet. Serena Williams said she found peace after apologizing to Naomi Osaka. If you remember, Serena was given 3 cold violations by chair umpire Carlos Ramos in the U.S. Open final last year, resulting in the loss of a game. The first came as a result of what Ramos deemed coaching from her box. The second was for smashing her racket, and the third was after she called Ramos a thief. Serena said she started seeing a therapist afterwards. She said, I was searching for answers, and although I felt like I was making progress, I still wasn't ready to pick up a racket. Finally, I realized there was only one way to move forward. It was time for me to apologize in person to the person who deserved it most, and that was Osaka. Williams said she told the Japanese player she was a fan, that she was truly sorry. Osaka answered the message. Williams said, when Naomi's response came through, tears rolled down my face. She said, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think that's a big move of her, especially being, in my opinion, she's an athlete, but she's a black woman athlete. And black women get the stigma of being angry and acting out and things like that. So the fact that she actually sat back, reflected on what happened, and actually talked to somebody about it, because I think that's a lot of things that we in the black community don't do. We just kind of brush things under the rug, pray about it, go to church, and think everything's good. But a lot of times you really need to get these thoughts out and process them with other people, not just yourself and not just talking to God. But I think it was really big of her to apologize, especially if she felt like she did something wrong. I'm glad that nobody forced her to apologize, because it makes the
genuine.
apology that much more genuine. Like, nobody asked me to. It's been, like you said, this happened last year. It's been months since it's happened. And the fact that she had the fortitude to actually go back, revisit the situation and say, you know what, I do owe you an apology and I'm sorry, you know, that makes you look at her like, okay, well, she really knows, like, to her, she felt like she did something wrong. And she took the steps to go forward and apologize, and hopefully she's able to move on from it and continue her amazing career.
Yeah, I'm not gonna knock anybody's growth, especially if it's genuine. Like you said, the fact that it took a year, I mean, obviously you weren't forced to do it. A forced apology became, you know, 2 weeks later, a couple days.
A press conference or something.
Yeah, something real quick, like, hey, look, it's done, it's out there. But yeah, I really don't really have anything to add to what you said. I think you put it very well. And I hope that Naomi received it well. And that Serena continues, you know, from a standpoint of growing, that, you know, going forward, that's not something where she won't backslide or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I like the fact that she acknowledged she was wrong. You know, I said it was right then and there. A lot of people was defending her actions. I'm like, look, man, she's the GOAT. Oh, you know, she's the GOAT, period. So that young girl battled her and was winning.
Yep.
She went off because she was in her butt kicked. It had nothing to really do with that game and calling her a thief. She just went off, and she has a history of not handling losing. And I understand being a competitor, but the way you win gracefully, you need to lose gracefully. You shake her hand. You see what I'm saying? And that's what upset me, because you took that moment from this girl where she broke down crying because she ain't understand, like, you know, what's going on. And then it may take you, you apologize and stuff like that, but that's a moment like that moment will always be overshadowed by what Serena did. And you supposed to be the vet, setting an example for her coming up, how to handle herself. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's respect that she came through, but, you know, the reason why I was eating at her because she knew she was wrong and she fought about it. And the thing that I really didn't appreciate about it, which I see with no disrespect to a lot of women in that field, athletics that do that, they try to justify that wrong by saying the men do it. And it's like, when you grow up, your friend do something wrong and then you do it, well, my friend did it. Well, your friend jump off the bridge, are you gonna do it too? It's kind of like along those lines. Just because the man do it don't mean it's right. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and especially by her being Serena, I'm not even just talking about comparing this to the men, just her status as an athlete. She's held to a way higher standard than most. So you can't act like that, you know, and that's all it is, because if she was smacking the girl, she wouldn't have cared. You see what I'm saying? So that was my thing with it, and you kind of harping on, well, men do it and all that. You trying to look for a way out. It just said that, you know, I was tripping, I was wrong, and it could have been dead right there.
Yep.
And I just feel like too many female athletes use that to justify, because wrong is wrong. It don't matter. So just own it, keep it moving, move on. But shout out to her. She gave her hopefully, this, you know, she, Saka appreciated that for real. And, you know, she can kind of cherish that moment more now moving forward, outside of what just happened. Last question. Bobby Porter says players knew in February about Kevin Durant and Kyrie going to the Nets. He said, we knew that was what was going to happen in February. We all knew that. Everybody knew that. I just don't think the media knew that. Us basketball players, we all knew that. I'm not going to leak my source. But we all knew where they were going. I'm protecting my source, but we all knew. Well, you know, what are your thoughts on that?
Y'all know. I didn't know. I honestly had no clue. Like, but I mean, that goes to show you that, you know, the NBA is a brotherhood in a certain sense. Like, they all talk, they all know each other, they all know what people are thinking and things like that. But I mean, it's kind of cool that nobody leaked into the to the media. I mean, because a lot of times, if that was really the consensus that most people around the league knew, you know, a lot of times somebody's sources would have leaked it to some type of media outlet. So that's interesting to know. But yeah, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, that's an interesting one for me. Like you said, they do talk. Not privy to those conversations, obviously. That may have well been true. I guess we will never know. I do believe maybe a bunch of players did think he was leaving. Mm-hmm. I don't think people legit knew the legit.
Yeah, like concrete, like he
yeah,
said,
like, I'm gonna be with the Nets. I'll already signed off.
I'm gonna go as far to the he's leaving Golden State. Right?
Okay, I can agree.
I can buy that part of it. In terms of knowing exactly Brooklyn, I don't know, because what if he answered the call from Kawhi differently? You know what I'm saying? Because don't tell me anybody saw the Kawhi thing happening. So for me,
Yeah.
I can't go with that because that's a big part of it to me. Is that Kawhi call? If it goes a different way,
Because I mean, he was
Nobody's
still
saw
kind
that.
of torn too. Like, if he knew he was going to go to Brooklyn next year, like, why would he risk playing?
that's a whole nother conversation. I don't even know we got
Yeah,
time
we can't
for.
get that real
Yeah.
I'm
last.
just wondering.
Yeah, I just think they just assume. Obviously, it got to the Warriors because I think that's what triggered the Draymond exchange. Obviously, got there. Like, you already got one foot out the door and all that. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he said he knew, but at the end of the day, what difference does it make? He there, he
He gone
signed.
now.
It is what it is. Last question: who do you blame more for? OKC pretty much falling from contendership to rebuild mode, the front office or Russell Westbrook?
Front office.
Sam Presti.
Damn.
Front office.
Nah, because I felt like that since the very beginning,
Yeah.
and I've been consistent with that.
You have.
And it's truly bothered me that everybody is
Russ.
taking the fall, but the person who routinely gets credit for drafting everyone.
Yeah.
Where else does that happen in like today, where it's everybody else's fault, but the smart guy?
I love it, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, my bad. I wasn't ready for that.
You
Yeah,
said
I wasn't ready
it.
for that, but yeah, like this is how I felt since when everything go left. When did James go?
2011?
So 11? No, 12. Summer
It
of
may
12.
be 12 or
right?
13. It may be
Summer
12
of 12.
by the one to
Summer of
13,
12.
yeah.
So
After they lost,
I've
yeah.
maintained how I felt since then. All the talent that's walked through those doors. It's been a laundry list of very
Yeah,
talented
man.
individuals, right?
Including the coaching staff.
And we talk about other
I broke
places
you up.
where taking a huge L for that environment, which is why I'm interested to see how this environment here, this culture gets fostered and grows. Because if that can be replicated to some type of degree here, after replicated there, again, we go back to the, like I said, I'm here with Sam Presti. I'm sick of it being everybody else's fault. Other teams, we criticize them when they get very talented players and don't build around them correctly, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about it all the time. This dude got gifted 3 MVPs,
Yeah.
right? Well, not gifted, okay. He got Kevin Durant. We didn't know the other two were going to become MVPs. That environment that was fostered by one of the scapegoats plays a huge role in the other two, right? The development of the other two. And Serge and Jeff. I don't understand how we continue to talk about this, and all we're still talking about is all the haul they got, and I've done my best just not to tweet about it because I've been irritated about it. Because why are we skipping past the haul? Like, literally, I want at least 2 30 for 30s on how we got here. Like, all the talent that teams had walked through those doors, nothing. And literally, after you fumbled the very first time, it's got progressively worse.
Yeah. You got to look at it. First, you don't re-sign James Harden for just really pennies for what you could. Then KD Rose, you trade Reggie Jackson, you stick with Russ. Ibaka leaves, so you trade Ibaka, he bounced around. He just won a championship. You know what I'm saying? And now Paul George after 1 year said, I'm done.
After re-signing, that's
and
what
then
throws me off.
And then you put, allegedly you put Russell up in the first trade to the Toronto for the Kawhi trade, and Toronto said no. So that's how he found out he was on the trading block. The dude that stayed loyal. So it's just like, it's been one missed call after another to the point now you basically lottery bound, man, because you might as well move him because his contract is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying, man? He's still playing at a high level, so why, come on, man. It's just, man, some of these organizational decisions, man, I just don't get it. They had the mob. They were supposed to do what the Warriors did. Mm-hmm. They had 3 MVP. And let Scott Brooks go, who I feel never gets the credit for what he did as a coach at OKC. He developed those guys into MVP. He created a foundation for the MVP caliber. Mm-hmm. Even Jeff Green was on that team. People forget about that. Like, that's another guy that like, they had a mob, man. Like, they just kept that together. No, man, look, everybody be trying to beat them.
Yep. So you trying to tell me whatever that crazy little price wasn't worth seeing what that could end up being?
Look, man, it took a monster Miami team with D-Wade at the end of his prime, LeBron entering his prime, Chris Bosh in his prime, for them to lose in 5 games. You keep that together to keep coming
babies.
back. Yeah, babies.
As
Don't even know what they
babies,
doing. They just hooping.
Thank you.
They don't even know how to play. They just hooping off talent.
And you threw that whole thing in the trash for what?
3
And-
MVPs you drafted.
And this is the part that kills me. So we can sit here and drag Grunfeld, deservedly so. Some other GMs, deservedly so. This dude's walk like it's literally Teflon. I don't get it. Like I said, I don't mind being, if that's the hill I'm going to take it along, cool. I feel fully justified in it because it was somebody else in a different organization we'd be dragging.
Yep.
And it's just like, I get the small market thing, it's cute, whatever, what have you. Dude, you literally had the lottery tickets of all small market teams. And this is what was done.
And that's why I got so much faith in Scott Brooks. He's a beast of development players, man. Look what he did with Thomas Bryant last year. I mean, he always preaches that. No one saw Russell Westbrook being the MVP. He wasn't even the third, fourth option on his college team. It was Kevin Love, Darren Collison, Shep. It was another. I mean, he was like the fourth option. Jordan Farmer had left. I think he had left. That's how he got the scholarship.
Gotcha.
So he got it late. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't even no-brainer recruit. He got it late when Farmer entered the draft. So that's how he went there. He said Russell Westbrook said he was gonna walk on at Stanford because he's a smart kid, 4.0 student. He was gonna walk on at Stanford. You see what I'm saying? So that's where, because he had an academic scholarship. So that's what you develop into a future MVP, averaging a triple-double. First one was his Big O. James Harden wasn't seen as a future MVP, even though he was more highly touted. But there's a reason why he went later in the draft as well. These guys, if you knew they was going to be what they are now, they'd have been #1 picks, no brainer. KD, all right, I'm not going to give you credit for KD. He's a special case, but you see what I'm saying? But he's a special case. But all these other guys, even Reggie Jackson became an all-star out of Boston College 1 year. I mean, come on, man. Ibaka, no one saw Ibaka become what he, it's just organization, man.
Different contenders and contenders. Like, again, I don't understand how someone's literally gotten away without playing for this much. I just don't get it, but that's just me. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we truly appreciate you. Get over to finestbank.com.
Can I say one thing before we
Yes,
go?
you definitely can.
I just want to give a shout out to the United States Women's
yeah.
National Soccer Team,
Yeah,
defending that World Cup again. So just want to say that.
got to. They always handle business.
They deserve more, not the equal.
And-
They winning.
And y'all got to do me a favor. Stop picking and choosing little parts of the pay scale thing
Nah,
to
they
talk
need
about.
more.
Just stop it. Like, nah, because I saw an article the other day. I clicked on it. They were like, well, FIFA gives. Right. We're talking about what the U.S. gives the woman. I don't hear about what FIFA gives.
Would the man get paid?
Look, man, I don't want to talk about what.
I'm just on what the man get paid.
I don't know exactly, but.
All right, then the women need to get double that or something.
They're winning something. Look, it's just sad. But we'll catch you guys next week, same time, same place. As always, thank you for tuning in.